Hey everybody, this is Flavio Romeo, and on this episode of the Towncast, we had the opportunity of going down to Paterson, New Jersey, downtown to City Hall, and talking to Mayor Andre Sayegh. He is the mayor of Paterson, just reelected last year, and he talks about many of the upgrades and many of the revitalization programs that they've already put in place and what's coming, like the Paterson Falls, the Riverwalk. It's some amazing things. I think you're really going to enjoy the episode. All right, everybody, so here we are. We're in the inner sanctum of the mayor's office, Mayor of Paterson, New Jersey, Mayor Andre Sayegh. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Flavio, I love your name, by the way. I only know a few Flavios, so I think you make three Flavios.
And I do know another Sayegh.
You do? Yes, the theater. I've seen a couple movies there. In fact, I think I'm going to see It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, Christmas time.
Correct.
All right. And if you can make it out for October 30th, we're doing The Shining.
Oh.
For Halloween.
I like to bring my kid. I don't know, my kids can't.
They're a little too young. Yeah. They'll be scared.
I like the movie myself.
Yeah,
I teach psychology, so.
Yeah, so hey, October 30th, don't forget. But I really appreciate the time.
Of course.
I told the mayor beforehand, I do not envy his position. There's some positions that I envy. This position I don't envy. And you did it again. So, I mean, you were born in Paterson. What part of
Only
Paterson?
home I've ever known. So I was born in St. Joseph's Hospital.
And what part of Paterson did you grow up?
It's considered the South Paterson section, and then we moved to the Lakeview section. There are 12 neighborhoods in Paterson, so I primarily grew up in 2 of those neighborhoods.
Okay.
Yes. I lived on Lakeview, in the Lakeview section for almost like 40 years of my life.
Wow.
Yes.
So you
because when my mother was diagnosed with dementia, my wife and I, we were married, and we moved back in with my mother to take care of her.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, my dad had that.
Really?
That's tough.
It's really hard on the family.
Yeah.
The caregivers.
Yeah.
It is. And my mother's actually still alive, but she's in the late stages.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's hard.
It is, but she did a lot for me, and she got me to this point.
Yeah.
So I'm profoundly grateful. Yeah, my mother, very good. My mother's from Syria, Aleppo.
Okay.
And my father is from Beirut, Lebanon.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm an immigrant. We came in from Italy in mid-60s.
I could tell with a name like Flavio.
So
we keep circling back to that.
Yeah.
I'm very fascinated with that name.
Yeah, and a lot of people think I'm Spanish because my last name, it's pronounced Romeo.
Yeah.
But they say Romero and they just ruin it. So.
Well, the 2 other Flavios I know are Dominican.
Oh, see?
Yes.
We're in good company. So you've lived here your whole life. You've been in politics pretty much a lot of your life. You got involved in the city council.
First school board, actually. I was elected to the school board about 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
What were you, 15?
No, I mean, I had my master's degree already from Columbia University.
Yeah.
So I ran for school board right after I earned my master's from Columbia University, but I lost.
Where'd you get your undergrad?
Seton Hall.
Seton Hall.
And I graduated, I was valedictorian with the highest honors.
Wow.
But if you want to go back to DePaul High School in Wayne, that's where I barely graduated. I graduated last in my high school class.
Did you really?
And we turned it around. And it's because of my mother. My mother's terrific. Yeah. She was my first motivator, my first mentor, and she was a bus driver. Because she had very little formal education in Syria. She came, she got married. Unfortunately, my father left us when I was 8 years old. So she had to find a way, and she did. And high school wasn't motivated, and then all of a sudden, it was like I got struck by a bolt of lightning. It was more so my mother just being persistent.
Yeah.
And then going from last in high school to being first at
She must have been so proud.
She was, especially Columbia, because she wanted me to go to Columbia University. I wanted to go to George Washington University in Washington. She said, "You're going to go to Columbia," and I did, and I'm better for it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you, sir.
So once you graduated,
I ran for office, but I lost the first time. I was in my 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you ran again.
And I built on that. Yeah, I ran again, and we won.
What did I do wrong?
True. Well, people didn't know who I was. I was just coming out of college. And with all due respect, I didn't go to school in Paterson. I went to Catholic schools. I went to school in Clifton, and I went to school in Wayne.
Okay.
So I guess not being in the public school system, I wasn't well known in Paterson.
Yeah, but
so I just had to
deep
earn
roots
it.
here.
Yeah, you have to earn it. People need to know who you are because you're always met with a certain level of skepticism when you're new on the scene. It's like, who is this person?
Right,
Is he
right. What does he
authentic?
know?
Yes. So
you did it. You ran.
sort of like a Rocky Balboa of Paterson politics, right? Yeah, I lost the first time, won, and then got reelected to the school board. Then the councilman that in my ward, the 6th ward, he retired after like 28 years, and I ran and won three terms as a councilman.
Wow.
But I didn't win the first time I ran for mayor. I didn't win the second time I ran for mayor. I had to be persistent. I've lost 3 elections, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Persistence.
Rocky Balboa of politics. Persistence prevails when all else
See if I
fails.
can put the music underneath just to...
Yes, I don't know. Yes, I have my Apollo Creed socks.
That's perfect.
Yes,
That's
I
great.
like him. Thank you.
So you run for council. You're in council. You're in the board.
Yeah,
of education.
yeah. So
What were your biggest challenges?
Okay, obviously curriculum,
Yeah.
test scores, student achievement. One thing that, and I went to Catholic school, St. Brendan and Clifton. It's no longer there, unfortunately. Catholic schools are closing.
Yeah.
And then DePaul and Wayne, like I said. And I was always accustomed to having a uniform on.
Right.
And the Paterson Public Schools, they didn't. And unfortunately, there are kids that just can't keep up. And they may want to compete with their classmates with clothing, but they can't. Right? We have students, low-income families. So I said, why don't we just create parity and have students compete over not what they wear, but over what they know.
Right.
And so we implemented school uniforms. I was very proud of that.
Wow.
To this day, all 3 of my children go to public schools in Patterson, and they said they blame Daddy
For what they have to wear?
Yeah. So that was a challenge.
But that's great because no one can show off and say, "Look at my new kicks. Look at my new."
Well,
clothes,
and then
look
you
at
can get
this."
bullied.
Yeah.
Like if you have the most recent Air Jordans and I don't,
Yeah.
you can like pick on somebody because you have raggedy shoes.
I know what that's like. I used to wear the A&P that used to be on Lincoln Ave years ago.
Oh yeah.
They used to have a rack of sneakers. So once a year, I'd have to buy. They looked like Keds, but they were more like Meds or Peds. You know. So they had the little zip
Knockoffs.
ties.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's
sorry.
my mother gave me $5. All right, go get another pair of sneakers.
Well, I like what you're wearing now, Flavio. I don't know if I'd wear them. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not going to show you guys.
Sorry.
So you're on the Board of Education, and so the councilman in your ward
He retired.
So that gave you inspiration.
Believe it or not, he was the mayor of Paterson when I was born. So he was mayor, then he got elected to council after he was mayor, and I took his seat.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the mayor when I was born. So it's like almost like 20.
What's his name? What was his name?
Tom Rooney. He's still alive. He's like
really?
95 years old. Yeah.
Wow, God bless him.
So when I got on the council, a couple challenges. Actually, one in particular, we had a notorious nightclub. We actually had a number of them, and I shut them down working with the police department and the legal department. But one of them was known as the Lava Lounge. I think we closed down like several of these notorious nightclubs, but this one was awful. Like guns inside, drugs inside, and it was smack dab in the middle of a working class neighborhood. It was really the worst case scenario for these families. They were urinating on their people's property.
Yeah, there must have been shootings.
Shootings, 3 a.m., prostitution, you name it. And then it was hookah. That was the big thing. It was called the Lava Hookah Lounge. So I fought really hard, and I finally got like a court order and shut them down. Now, what we realized in that South Paterson where I was born, it's an underserved population as far as a preschool is concerned. They didn't have a preschool.
Really?
So we closed down the Lava Lounge, that notorious nightclub, and we opened up their first preschool.
And turned
Still
that
there
same
today.
building?
And my 2 kids went there.
Really?
Yes, much later. Yes, yeah, we
And you
turned
did
it
that when you
around.
were on council?
Yes, and then later on, when I was council, my last official act was to bring a second site to the Lakeview section that didn't have a preschool either. Same woman, a Pattersonian, African-American woman, Dr. Brenda Belmont.
Really?
Yes, great. She does terrific work with children.
Is she still doing it?
She has 3 sites.
Wow.
We're working on a 4th.
That's amazing.
Now the other thing is we had an underserved population as far as play spaces are concerned. There's not much in the 6th ward.
Yeah.
So we built the first playground for the
Yeah, I mean,
students at School 25.
You're big on that. You're big on having
I'm
a
all
place
about
for
that
the
investment.
kids.
It's the most worthy investment. You get a return on the investment. You could beat the street, right? It's easy sometimes for children to succumb to the scourge of the streets, but give them positive alternatives, positive outlets.
Yeah, give them a place to go, a place
Yes,
to hang out, a
because
place to have
some
fun.
kids have legitimate anger, mental health challenges, so keep them focused
Yeah.
and keep them fit. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it's you have to concentrate on your health and well-being.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things you're proud of.
I am. I'm proud to be a Patersonian.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much. It's the
Well,
only.
there's such a rich history. And I didn't realize that Alexander Hamilton founded Paterson.
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah, he's the founder of Paterson.
He is.
And he's the one that was instrumental in turning it into Silk City, right? And creating all that industry.
So, as legend has it, July 10th, 1778, during the Revolutionary War, he and George Washington, who at that time was a general, Alexander Hamilton was the aide de camp to George Washington, so his right-hand man. And then you had Marquis de Lafayette from France. They were having lunch at the Great Falls. And Hamilton, a visionary, he saw the falls and he saw the future. And I'm sure at that meeting, or the setting, that lunch setting, he told George Washington and the Marquis de Lafayette, I'll be back because I can harness the water for power, for factories, hydropower.
Yeah.
And true to his word, he came back. And on July 4th, 1792, they established the Society for Useful Manufacturing. Well, they actually established the city of Paterson. And I'll tell you the story. Why is it called Paterson and not Hamilton? Because you're like, well, I didn't know Hamilton.
Yeah.
So at that time, in order for a city to become official, you needed a charter. It had to be incorporated. Only the governor could sign and make it official. So Alexander Hamilton and the Society for Useful Manufacturers, they went down to meet with the governor. They showed them this concept. The governor was wowed. He said, this is brilliant. Only thing missing, the city based on industry. What are you going to name it? So Hamilton supposedly said, well, Governor William Paterson, your name will look good on it. So I guess in exchange for Paterson's name on it, the governor signed the charter. Yeah. And hence Paterson, New Jersey.
Paterson, New Jersey.
Should have been Hamilton, New Jersey.
Right, you would think.
Now, in honor of our founding father, who was made famous or popularized by Lin-Manuel Miranda and the Broadway musical Hamilton, which I've seen twice.
I know, he should do a Paterson version.
Well, there's a Patersonian in it right now.
Really?
Damani Van Rensselaer. She's in the cast of Hamilton. Yes. Now, in honor of him, we are actually building with tax credits, $130 million that we got, plus some more, a visitor center at the Great Falls.
Perfect.
It's going to be called the Alexander Hamilton Visitor Center. And we're scheduled to break ground in the spring. So come back, Flavio.
Let me know. I'll definitely cover it.
Well, what's currently happening there, and we can't see it, there's the rendering. We have a river walk built at the falls. So next year when you come, it's going to enhance your experience, the aesthetic appeal. Right? Just like San Antonio has a river walk. So the Great Falls will have our own version of a 2+ mile river walk. And the ribbon cutting should be in June or July. I mean, you never know. There's delays.
It's like the Niagara Falls of these.
Look, I've been reading a book on artificial intelligence. It's called Smart Government and how it can improve the way that you serve the public. There's a chapter on AI, artificial intelligence, and tourism. So when people want to search like Niagara Falls, we want in their search engine, search history, we want it to pop out Paterson Falls.
Oh, that's
Great
perfect.
Falls.
Well, I mean, there's nothing.
You got to think like that.
There's nothing like
that.
You
got to think big. I think part of the problem in the past in Paterson, people thought too small, and they never missed an opportunity to miss an opportunity.
Right.
And we're seizing opportunities. Just like an hour ago, we cut the ribbon on an innovative, affordable housing initiative called Grandparents Raising Grandchildren. 75 affordable housing units for senior citizens who are raising their grandchildren. And that's a need. We're meeting a need there. Yeah. We just cut the ribbon. That's part of what we're doing with affordable housing. Since I took office 5+ years ago, we have provided 500 affordable housing units. There's one project on Fifth Avenue. It's called the Riverside Village. That's about 261 units. Then at Hinchliffe Stadium, and we'll talk about that later. Hinchliffe Stadium, we also built 75 units of affordable housing for seniors.
Wow.
Then we just cut the ribbon on 75 more, and then the other one, and you can catch that there, it's at Barclay Place. It is a partnership between St. Joseph's Health, our hospital, NJCDC, one of the largest nonprofit organizations, and the city. And it's 56 units for individuals who are struggling with mental health conditions, like chronic medical conditions. Yeah. Some of them are homeless and they seek shelter, or they sought shelter in the emergency room. So they didn't have anywhere to live, so they just go to the emergency room for shelter.
Now you'd be able to take
56
them and
units.
Put them there.
We've cut the ribbon on that.
No,
and we've cut the ribbon on all those projects already. Today was the last project.
And
for now.
Yeah.
That's the grandparents raising grandchildren.
Yeah.
So it's 4 projects, almost 500 units.
Wow. Now for that
meeting
project,
the need.
That project with the mental health, will there be an opportunity for them to get mental health, to get
Yes. That's why you have the hospital involved.
Yeah.
And that's why you have a nonprofit involved.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, it was interesting. I reached out to the community, and I posed some questions. I just said, "Listen, I'm going to be meeting with the mayor. If you guys have any questions that you'd like me to bring up?" And they weren't shy. You know, they weren't shy about bringing up the
I'm
questions.
not shy.
and some of which you just answered. I know that there was a big tax credit.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about...
So the tax credit. So let's talk about Hinchliffe Stadium.
Yeah.
It was empty and abandoned for 26 years. I call it the real Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Opened up during the Great Depression, 1932. Actually, they consider July 8th, 1932 to be the grand opening of Hinchliffe Stadium. And it quickly became the home for 2 Negro League teams. So in this country, when African Americans were not allowed to play baseball in the major leagues, they played in their own league, and they played in Paterson. And Hinchliffe Stadium is one of only 2 stadiums still standing that hosted Negro League games.
Yeah, how could you not preserve that?
The New York Black Yankees called it home. The New York Cubans called it home. Legends, like 20 Hall of Famers played there. Future Hall of Famers, eventual Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Larry Doby from Paterson.
Sure, yeah.
Then you also had Satchel Paige. You had Josh Gibson played there. James Cool, Papa Bell.
Wow.
Yes. Monty Irvin from Orange, he played there too. So unfortunately, it was allowed to fall into disrepair, and it was like decay, and it just was it symbolized the city.
Yeah.
Decades of decay and disinvestment, and now it's like we've restored it and we're reinvesting in the city. So May 19th was the rebirth this year of Hinchliffe Stadium. Awesome. Whoopi Goldberg was there, Senator Cory Booker.
Oh, is
it
that
was
right?
a big event. We had 1,000 people. The children sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Yeah. 2 of the children were mine. Yeah, it was terrific. What a moment for Paterson. I said it put Paterson back in the win column.
Yeah.
So we used tax credits there. We used the tax credits for the grandparents raising grandchildren. And then the tax credits will also be used for the Alexander Hamilton Visitor Center at the Great Falls.
That's going to be amazing. I mean, you know, people sometimes they don't realize that if you could bring visitors into the city, you're bringing revenue. You know, they're coming in, they're spending money, they're going to the restaurants,
Well, the National Park Service estimated that last year, 300,000 people visited the Great Falls. Our goal is to get to 1 million. How? So we're doing the Riverwalk. We're going to do the Visitor Center named for Alexander Hamilton. We've also approved the project that'll call for a rooftop restaurant across the street from the falls. Nice. And a food hall to accentuate the multicultural cuisine that we have. We're the most diverse city in the state, and as far as dining is concerned, that's diverse too. Yeah. And we want people to get a taste of Paterson.
As long as you put a little Italian in there.
You always have to have Italian. We just raised the Italian flag on Monday.
Did you really?
We did, and all 5 Italian Americans in Paterson were there. No, we had a very big turnout.
Well, I remember when we first moved here, my dad used to go to 21st Ave. And
not as Italian anymore.
No.
It's more Colombian, Dominican.
Yeah, but I think Gianello's is still there.
They are. They are very good.
I mean, we used to go, you know, he used to play Pinochle, he used to play Scopa. I used to sit there and watch TV. You know, I was 7, 8 years old.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
They had all the cafes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see. I'm going to show the picture of the Riverwalk. That's going to be outstanding.
Well, a lot is going to be happening there. It's like so much synergy in that section, and it's the source. It's like a symbol of our strength, the falls, right? That's where the urban resurgence for us is going to continue. Yeah. So Hinchliffe Stadium is there. The county just redid the bridge, the Wayne Avenue Bridge. It looks beautiful. New lighting. They widened it for pedestrians, the pathways. Then you have the Riverwalk. And then you're going to have the rooftop restaurant, the dining hall, and then we're auctioning off Libby's where you can get hot dogs.
Oh, really?
So that could be a cafe by the falls.
Yeah.
We want a boutique hotel maybe by the falls. And when we built Hinchliffe Stadium, we actually lured a professional baseball team away from Little Falls. They played at Yogi Berra Stadium for 25 years.
Yeah.
Now the New Jersey Jackals call Hinchliffe Stadium home.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
And let me tell you something about, as far as Hinchliffe Stadium is concerned. Almost 100% of the jobs, maintenance, security, and operations, Pattersonians.
All of them.
Some of them are getting a second chance.
That's awesome.
We're the first office, mayor's office in the state of New Jersey to have somebody working full-time on re-entry. We have a reintegration services. She's right here. She works outside of my office. Only the first office. I think Newark now has one. We were first. So she deals with individuals who just They were released from prison, jail, and she helps them get jobs. Some of those folks work Hinchliffe Stadium.
Wow. That's amazing.
You know, Flavio, I don't promise much. I promised that I would bring back Hinchliffe Stadium because it was a 14-year journey. When I was a councilman in 2009, my wife and I went to the other stadium still standing that hosted Negro League games in Birmingham, Alabama, Rickwood Field. And it was a fact-finding mission. We learned, right? And then I came back in 2010 and ran for mayor, lost because my goal was Hinchliffe Stadium. One of my goals, because I knew the potential was there.
Yeah.
And it's a symbol of our city, meaning like, okay, you know, this investment decades, now we can reverse the trend. 2014 I lost again, and then 2018 it was like 3 strikes and I'm out, or the third time's a charm. Thankfully, the people of Paterson, in a landslide, not only elected me, but re-elected me, and Hinchliffe Stadium is now fully operational.
Yeah, and now you're going to have the Jackals playing.
They are playing.
Can't wait for spring.
They're
playing now? No.
Oh, they wrapped up the season about a month ago.
Yeah.
But their winning percentage at Hinchliffe Stadium was like over 70%. They were like unbeatable at Hinchliffe Stadium.
Really?
Yes. And they went to the playoffs for the first time in like 5 years.
We'll have to have like a Towncast day. We'll just have a bunch of people come out.
Let's go.
Watch the Jackals play.
Look, the Jackals have Bobby Jones. He played for the Mets. He's their president.
Yeah,
so
is that right?
we could talk to him.
Let's do it.
I'm game.
Now, so that was one of the things.
Sure.
So the biggest things were drugs, guns. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
It seems epidemic. It seems almost overwhelming. Is there something you could talk about?
Sure.
How
So another promise I made was that if I were elected mayor, I would hire a grant writer for the city. We never had a grant writer, and you just can't keep burdening the general operating budget. So we got a grant writer. That grant writer has raised almost $50 million.
$50 million
since I took office. We wrote a grant for an opioid response team. We would create an opioid response team to engage people who are struggling with opioid use disorder. We got the grant. We've helped hundreds of people. I mean, sometimes you can't account for anyone who may relapse.
Yeah.
But we've helped hundreds of people. We've had so many referrals. The opioid response team, which is comprised of an EMT, a police officer, and a social worker. But then we took it a step further because I got to mention, I participated, it's prestigious, in the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative. Michael Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City, I'm sure you know, he ran for president.
Yeah.
I actually endorsed him. Michael Bloomberg, after he left office, created this cohort of mayors they would train every year. 40 mayors from around the world. So the first cohort was in 2017, and Pete Buttigieg, the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, he was in that cohort who ran for president too. I was in the second one, and you're talking about mayors from around every continent almost, except Antarctica. But in the United States, in my cohort, we had the mayor of Seattle, Miami, Atlanta. So you have like big cities, and Paterson. Then mayors from Asia and Africa and Europe. Wow. Yes, and me. So as a result, a philanthropic organization known as the Taub Foundation. The Taubs were 2 brothers who partnered with Senator Frank Lautenberg from Paterson. They created ADP for the payrolls system.
Oh yeah.
And then they started giving back to Paterson, and they liked the fact that I was mayor because they believed in my vision. So they said, "What did you learn from Bloomberg?" I said, "I need a chief innovation officer. I need a chief data officer because I really used the data officer to drive decision making during the pandemic, like when to close, when to open up these non-essential businesses." So the chief innovation officer told me that Bloomberg issued a global mayor's challenge, and it stated that any city that came up with an innovative idea to address a long-standing challenge only exacerbated by the pandemic would get $1 million from Bloomberg to implement the innovative idea.
Really?
Yes. 631 cities from around the world applied for this unique opportunity. He only chose 15, and one of the 15 was Paterson. And now you're talking
because of your opioid response team?
No, it's court. Watch, I'll get there. And we're talking about London was awarded, Paris, and Paterson. It is called Real Fix. It's to buttress the work of the opioid response team. Our chief innovation officer created a hotline, 833 Real Fix, and we piloted it with 5 people who were struggling with opioid use disorder.
Right.
So those 5 people could call this hotline. Now, drug dealers are really good at customer service. What if we were better?
Yeah.
So we told these 5 people, look, withdrawal is it's a hardship for them.
Intense.
Yeah. So we said, we can get you within 90 minutes, Suboxone, which is medically assisted treatment to help you wean yourself off whatever you're addicted to. So these 5 people, part of the pilot program, we got them to call the hotline, connect it to a doctor. The doctor prescribed the medication. We got it to them in 76 minutes. And then we don't stop. Yes. And then we didn't stop there. We took it a step further and connected them with a counselor to put them on a path to sobriety.
And have you been able to track?
We won the $1 million.
Wow.
Yes, and we scaled up and staffed up. Now Ed Bosey, our Chief Innovation Officer, he hired staff, and they've helped 140 people so far with the medically assisted treatment.
When was that put in place?
It was late last year in earnest. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Actually more like early this year.
And what about
the guns?
Yeah,
we've confiscated about close to 700 guns in like 4 years. That's a lot.
700 guns.
That's more than 100 guns per year. Wow. That's almost like a gun every 3 days. That's how drastic it is. But we've also, part of the problem in 2011, a previous mayor laid off 125 cops. That's tough. You can't recover from that. So ever since I took office, we'll never really get to that level of over 500. We're just trying to get to over 439. The number's 439. Now? Getting there. I've hired 167 cops in 4 years. Well, 5 years. We've diversified our force.
Yeah.
And we're doing what we can. We saw in the first 3 months, it was dramatic, a 66% decrease in homicides in Paterson.
Really?
That's significant.
And when you think about it, 430 cops with 157,
160, let's go
160,000 people. It's tough.
That we know of. That was the census.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Well, we were big on the census. We fought hard to get a complete and accurate count and a committee. And Paterson was stuck at like 147,000, chronically undercounted every decade. And we said,
there's just people not reporting.
And if you get to 150 in the state, the law says that you're a city of the first class and that you can get benefits, more federal funding. You could apply for federal funding. So 147, we got to 160. And it was during the pandemic, and we were like going door to door, like fill out the form.
I can imagine people would just be so nervous.
We achieved that objective though.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, my wife and I, between the last census in 2010 and this past census in 2020, we've had 3 children. So we contributed.
Yeah, I can't believe that you do this job with 3 children.
People ask me, am I going to have any more children for the next census in 2030? I'm done.
My
wife's done. My eldest is Sophia Shea. We're Mets fans. Shea Stadium.
Really? Is that what you named it after?
10.
You didn't? Why not Hinchcliffe?
I didn't think about that.
Sophia Hinchcliffe.
Well, also my middle child, her name is Kayla Grace, and then my youngest is Aiden Kennedy.
Oh yeah, well, you're a big Kennedy fan.
I am.
What is it about him that you love?
Charisma. He had style and he had substance. You have to have that.
Yeah.
In this line of work, public service, you have to have some style to keep their attention, but you have to have substance so you can take action.
Right. Well, there's a lot of substance in what you're saying.
And I sure hope so. Yeah. I'll tell you another thing, Flavio, and I love saying your name. I'm still fascinated by that name. If I had another son, who knows? If I had a daughter, Flavio. Right. Anyway, so we also have the Financial Empowerment Center. It's the only one in the state of New Jersey and one of 30 in the country. We have 3 trained counselors, financial counselors, that provide free one-on-one financial counseling, and it's confidential. We've helped like over 500 people in 2 years.
How do people?
It's free. You just call the number and
what do you know? How do I get the number?
I'll get it. It's on the website.
I'll put it right underneath
FBC
here.
Financial Empowerment Center. They speak Italian, but primarily Spanish.
Right.
But I knew there was something on staff that spoke Italian. For all 2 Italians that are in Paterson, sorry. But the Financial Empowerment Center, I'll tell you, they help people. Think about this. You have low-income families. Reduce your debt. Improve your credit score, which is really important if you want to become a home buyer. And become a first-time home buyer. We've helped a number of people stay in their homes with the financial counseling. So we've helped people get credit cards, open up accounts. People that work for me did it. Like employees that I didn't know. Like they didn't have a credit card. And they were in their 60s.
Yeah. So anybody that contests says, listen, I can't get out of this debt, because that's the biggest
Come in
issue.
and we'll help you. We'll empower you.
Yeah.
The other thing is we also established what's called a guaranteed income initiative. There's people really living below the poverty line in Paterson. So at first we got a donation from the then CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey. He gave us $500,000. And Charles Floyd, a major developer in Paterson, he gave us over $100,000, and we helped 110 people by giving them $400 a month for the year. They spent it on groceries, school supplies, medication. One lady's like, I had my first real Thanksgiving.
Oh. Wow.
Invited all the family. So the Guaranteed Income Initiative is going to be relaunched this year, right in time for Christmas. This time we're ramping it up, 200 people.
Really?
Who are selected. They're randomly selected by a lottery-based system.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Hey, that's the work we're doing here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many people that are below the poverty level that feel like there's just no way to get out of it. So
affordable housing is important. The Financial Empowerment Center, the Guaranteed Income Initiative. We're also we're going to establish a community court. Sometimes you have low-level offenders, non-violent, and they get clogged up in the court system and they can't get jobs, and it's a strain on not only the system but on their prospects.
Yeah.
So our community court's going to help them find jobs, keep them out of court.
So there were a bunch of people that also talked about the roads.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So I know River Street, just on the way here.
You took River Street?
You're
daring.
It's like driving on the surface of the moon.
and I'm sorry, I'm trying to be a wise guy, but sometimes when it rains, River Street is more river than street.
Yeah.
Okay, this year we have a massive road resurfacing project. Okay, so this year we resurfaced 20 roads. One of them is Chamberlain, and we're finishing it up. We have 2 phases. Next year we're going to resurface, it's almost unprecedented, 30 roads, and one of them is River Street.
Really?
River Street is an $11 million project.
$11 million.
3 phases. We're finishing the first phase, which is design. You have to do the design. Then we have to repair the sewer system. It's damaged.
Yeah.
And then we resurface the road. I believe at this time next year, River Street will be resurfaced. If everything, I've learned this business, try not to
He's
promise.
He's on the record.
If all things go according to plan, no supply chain challenges or anything like that, River Street will be resurfaced October of next year, maybe earlier. But I'm going to under-promise and over-deliver.
All right. Well, that's great, because everybody's going to be going to Hinchcliffe.
It's true. All roads do lead to Hinchcliffe. There's wayfinding signs. But also, Eastside Park is the crown jewel of our crown jewel of our park system. We just resurfaced all the roads there. We just resurfaced all the roads. Yes, and we are actually renovating the tennis court, $500,000 right now. They're painting it orange and blue for Eastside High School.
Really?
Then we're going to fix the tennis courts at Westside High School and paint it black and red for Kennedy High School.
Nice.
In my 5 years, we have invested over $100 million in improving parks, playgrounds, pools, basketball courts, tennis courts. Right now, as we speak, we are planning to build a recreation center. We don't have one in Paterson. I just had a town hall meeting, a little raucous last night. What do the people want? We want public input. Do you want a pool? Do you want pickleball? Do you want a basketball court? Do you want something for mixed martial arts?
So what was the consensus?
They want everything.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
So you're working on a rec center?
Yes.
Where's it going to
cost like $20 million. We haven't identified where, but we want to know what is going to go in first.
Right.
Because if you know what's going to go in, you know what size you want.
Right. Then you know where you can find the space.
Correct. But I'll tell you, 10 athletic fields we've improved. We just finished the 10th one. It's at a school where I grew up in the neighborhood. I played there. I hit my one and only home run at that field.
Did you really?
I did.
Did you name it after yourself?
No way.
One home run.
I got to be very modest. And this job will humble you, so you know that.
Oh, yeah.
You don't envy me, so.
Yeah, I know. It's
and I'm not asking for anybody's pity or envy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
This is what I chose to do.
It's a lot of things that people don't see. Like a lot of the things that you're talking about, people don't see it. They have, they're either in a certain area, they don't go to the other areas, so they don't get a chance to see what's happening. I mean, all along while you guys were working on Hinch, we saw the press. I love that you're on social media.
I am.
And listen, if you don't follow the mayor, make sure you follow him on Instagram, on Facebook.
Not so much X or Twitter. Not so much. Yeah. Sorry.
Who cares about that? Make sure you follow him so you can see, because he's updating it almost on a daily basis on the things that you and your administration are
Today,
doing.
this week alone, we were talking about a new playground at Buckley where we renovated. We actually renovated the basketball court and we named it after a Patersonian who played in the WNBA, won a championship with the Los Angeles Sparks. Her name is Essence Carson. So we did it all over. She designed it and we paid for it.
Nice.
Like $500,000.
Yeah. That's the other thing is that people don't realize the expense of this kind of stuff.
$100 million.
Yeah.
Overall. We've gotten $1 billion in investment. We're really like booming right now, the growth. Just to give you a data point.
And I see all the grand openings. You got a lot of businesses that are coming in.
Correct.
And that's the thing is when you improve the roads, when you improve the parks, when you improve the buildings, and then the businesses want to come back.
You know, when we started, there was like 1,200 abandoned properties in Paterson. Now there's like
1,200?
Now it's like 200.
1,200.
Almost 80% decrease in the number of abandoned properties. One of them was like the old armory in Paterson. Now it's going to be a mixed-use project, retail on the ground level, residential. Hinchliffe Stadium is an abandoned property.
Yeah.
That. Also, we had a factory. We have many factories. It was a dye factory, Leader Dye it was called. It's going to be a new school. I love it. It's going to be a charter school.
Really?
Yes. We have to overcrowding conditions.
Yeah.
The classrooms. I believe that there's a correlation between the quantity of students and the quality of instruction. I'm a teacher. I don't want 500 students in my class. I prefer that we have it like 20, 25. On that level, yes.
Yeah. So one of the last things I'm going to bring up that
Sure.
several people from several municipalities
Sure.
mentioned.
Let me guess. Hawthorne, Glen Rock. Yes.
And
Fairlawn.
Fairlawn. Yeah.
There you go.
And they all
I know this one.
They all mentioned the same thing. The music that's coming out of the Bunker Hill.
We had an issue with Bunker Hill. We actually stationed police officers there. They were doing drag racing. I believe that it improved, but we have to stay vigilant.
Yeah.
That's
There were drag racing too? I know there was fireworks coming out of there.
You know, fireworks also came out of Hinchliffe. Every Saturday night, maybe this is what they were talking about, the New Jersey Jackals have fireworks as a part of their promotion.
That's all right though. I mean, you're doing it 8, 9 o'clock at night. You're not doing it at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, you know, quality of life is a consistent challenge because there's people out there that are inconsiderate and they want to continue to compromise the quality of life for the people not only in Paterson but in neighboring towns.
Yeah.
So I'll let the folks know in Fairlawn, in Glen Rock, in
Hawthorne,
my home away from home, Hawthorne.
Who used to work there?
Yes, I worked for Senator John A. Girgenti at 507 Lafayette Avenue. I was his chief of staff.
Yeah.
Is that a name for Marquis de Lafayette?
He's Lafayette Ave, yeah.
Oh, there you go, another Hamilton-Patterson connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to tell all my friends in the neighboring towns that I will continue to monitor the situation, and my office is accessible to you, and of course, my public safety director who handles a lot of those calls from me, from you.
Yeah. So if people...
And your respective mayors do reach out to me.
Yeah.
Like Kurt Peloso from Fairlawn, John Lane from Hawthorne, even Joe Witecki, the councilman, he calls me too.
Yeah, well, I love that you attend events in all of the neighboring towns.
I have to.
Yeah.
Look, Paterson is the seat of Passaic County. We're the capital of Passaic County.
Yeah.
We're the largest city. So we're like New York City with all the suburbs around us.
Yeah.
And I love it. I've worked in Hawthorne. I've worked in Fairlawn. I shop in these places too.
Yeah.
I spend money in Bergen County and Hawthorne.
Yeah.
My wife spends a lot of money in Bergen County. Paramus
Mall, yeah.
All the malls.
If people do want to reach out, they have questions, they have concerns.
Yeah,
or even if, and you know what, I am going to mention this, there were several people that had, positive things to say.
Really?
Jody H., thank you for doing a thankless job.
Thank you, Jody.
And for taking on a daunting uphill battle every single day.
I like the way she phrased that.
Yeah, I mean, you had along with the negatives, there were a lot of positives, and because I think it's always easy. You go on social media, and the negative things are the first things that come up. Even reviews. If you go on Amazon, you go on Walmart, you go to these places and you look at the reviews. The negatives are the first ones that come up. People just love to complain. So if people do want to complain or they do want to send their thanks, is there a way that they can reach the office?
So, I can give you my personal cell.
That's completely up to you.
Don't text me at 2 in the morning.
You're gonna be inundated.
My wife doesn't have a jealous bone in her body, was saying, "Who's texting you at 2 in the morning?" So, my personal cell is 973-204-5617, and let's just keep it strictly business.
204
5617. You have it. I think we've been texting each other.
5617.
Also, I want to let you know, like, when I first took office, I told people, I said, look, we are looking to write a new narrative in Paterson.
Yeah.
And in order to author that success story, I need co-authors to write it with me. Yeah. So we've had a lot of co-authors on the federal level, state level, county level, and municipal level.
Well, just from what you've done in the last 5 years, it is a thankless job, but when you see the fruits of your labor, and I can't wait for the Riverwalk to be open.
Me neither. This is Lou Costello Memorial Park, $1 million. And
I love that park. I used to love that park.
No, you like it now. Take a look now.
I'm going to go
it's
now.
Changed. It has a playground, first of its kind in Paterson, to accommodate children with special needs.
Really?
When I first took office, we didn't have a single playground that accommodated children on the spectrum, children with autism. Yeah. Now we have 3. Lou Costello Memorial Park, Roberto Clemente Park above you. We love Roberto Clemente in Paterson. And Garrett Mountain. That's working with our county commissioners.
Yeah. Wow. That's tremendous.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I enjoy coming to work.
I can tell.
Every day, but some days
more than others. Yeah, more than others. Well, listen,
and I'd say, Flavio, I'm sorry. The one thing that I never anticipated was the pandemic, and that was very difficult for us. But Paterson became a leader as far as the vaccine is concerned and contact tracing. We were nationally recognized. In fact, people like all over said the Paterson model with vaccines. And I'll never forget, my policy was, if you wanted to live, we were going to give you the vaccine. I don't care where you live. And the best story was, there was a 95-year-old man that came to our point of dispensing, which was at International. We transformed an International High School into a vaccination site so we can accommodate hundreds of people every day. And he wasn't from Paterson, he was from Clifton. 95-year-old man, and he came up to me and said, Mayor, I don't live in Paterson, but I want to live.
Wow.
We helped so many people from Clifton, Glen Rock, Fairlawn, Hawthorne. We had towns just bring people. Yeah. Because it was a global crisis, and it's a humanitarian effort.
Right. How do you
there
turn
were no
them away?
boundaries, there were no barriers to this disease. The virus didn't discriminate. It affected us all.
Yeah.
So that took a toll.
You could see the passion this man has.
And it's authentic.
Clearly.
Just like I root for the Mets.
Yeah, that's a passion. Giants. That's a passion right there. Yeah.
But I root for the Jets out of sympathy. I hope I didn't offend
I now root for the Jets only because the Giants are where they are.
Well, they play each other. Be careful.
I know. October 29.
Yeah. Somebody's got to win, or it could be a draw.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? New York's going to win, whatever it is.
New Jersey.
Ironically, they play in Jersey. Yeah. Listen, he gave the cell phone. Don't use that to disparage. Don't use that to knock down. Use it to build up. Obviously, he's trying to build up the city. So if you have comments, you have commentary, you have issues, you have problems, concerns, use it for those reasons, not to tear somebody down or not to tear the city down. Use it to build it up, because that's definitely what you've been doing. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next several years.
Flavio, I'm profoundly grateful for this opportunity. This is my first time on the Towncast. I hope it's not my last time.
It's definitely not going to be the last one.
But we're just going to continue to position Paterson for progress. We're in growth mode in this city.
And let me know when you have events. Let me know.
Yes.
And we'll come out and cover it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish I'd have known. I would have invited you today.
Yeah, I would have been there.
I'll invite you to the School 25. It's not going to be, it was supposed to be tomorrow. It'll be on Monday. I'll make sure I send you it at 11 a.m.
Please do. All right.
That's the field I grew up on.
Is that right?
Yeah, grew up. Yeah, playing on.
All right, we'll come out there. We'll do a live.
My first and only home run.
You got to show me where. All right.
We'll see. Left field, I pulled.
All right, listen. If anything, just text the mayor words of encouragement.
Thank you.
And let's keep moving forward. Don't pull it back.
No.
Let's keep moving forward. And again, thank you so much.
Positively Paterson right here.
Positively Paterson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Flavio.
All right, be well, everybody.